It's hard to believe it's been 20 years since Avatar The Last Airbender first premiered on Nickelodeon. The show wasn't just another cartoon for kids, it completely changed how people viewed animation. Suddenly, cartoons could be funny, emotional, adventurous, and culturally rich all at once. The story of Aang, the last Airbender, his friends Katara, Sokka, Toph, and even Zuko, captured hearts around the world. But fans have always wondered one big question: did the creators, Dante DiMartino and Bryan Konietzko, know from the beginning exactly how the story would end? In a recent interview with BuzzFeed celebrating the 20th anniversary of the series, DiMartino and Konietzko opened up about the planning behind Avatar The Last Airbender. Many people think that such a tightly plotted show must have been carefully planned from day one, but the truth is a little more nuanced. According to DiMartino, they definitely had a strong overall idea of how Aang's journey would unfold, but many details developed along the way. "We had the broad strokes of the structure of the series figured out," DiMartino said. "The main idea was simple but powerful. Aang had to master all the elements: water, earth, fire, and use these skills to confront the Fire Nation. That concept was consistent from the start. Even though the framework was clear, a lot of the episodes and storylines were developed over time. We had ideas for certain episodes," DiMartino explained. "Of course, there were many episodes to fill in, so things get fleshed out and expanded on. Many new ideas not in the development Bible came to fruition in the show. But it's cool to look back and think, oh yeah, we thought of that early on." This shows that while the creators had a roadmap, the show still had room to evolve organically. Some of the most memorable moments may have been planned early, while others emerged as they worked on the series. Konietzko also mentioned revisiting their development Bible after the series ended and being surprised by how much of their original vision actually made it into the show. "I hadn't really looked at it in a couple of years at that point. Not to take away from the writers or artists' ideas, or even our newer ideas, but there was a lot of stuff from that development Bible that we did know," he said. One example he shared was the iconic scene where Aang cocoons himself in stone during his final battle with Fire Lord Ozai. That scene was in the original plan from early on, showing that some of the most dramatic moments had been envisioned long before they made it to the screen. Of course, not every idea made it to the show. We had other wacky ideas in that Bible that we left behind, Konietzko admitted. Despite this, the creators had a strong vision for the story arc. They knew that Book 3 would involve a counter-invasion, that Aang would face Ozai during Sozin's Comet, and that Ozai would have supercharged firebending powers. Even if every single detail wasn't mapped out, they had the major beats of the story locked in, which helped the show stay consistent and meaningful from start to finish. One of the biggest challenges for any popular series is ending it in a satisfying way. Fans often worry that their favorite shows could be ruined by a weak finale. Thankfully, Avatar The Last Airbender didn't disappoint. The comet, fueled showdown between Aang and Ozai was breathtaking, filled with tension, emotion, and beautifully animated fight sequences. Aang's victory was not just expected, it felt right. But how did the creators decide how to make this fight so memorable and true to Aang's character? DiMartino explained that everything about the final fight came from understanding Aang as a character. He's from this monastic, non-violent community, and those are his values. He was always trying to make peace between people who were fighting, DiMartino said. The other characters assumed he would kill Ozai, but that would have gone against everything Aang stood for. The finale was really about showing Aang struggling with this dilemma and finding another way to resolve the conflict without compromising his beliefs. The creators wanted the finale to reflect Aang's journey, not just provide a flashy battle scene. The introduction of the mythical lion turtle in the finale was also carefully planned. Fans often debated whether this plot device came out of nowhere. But the truth is that DiMartino and Konietzko had been planting seeds for it throughout the series. The lion-turtle idea was something we tried to weave subtly through the series, so it didn't feel completely out of the blue, DiMartino said. Konietzko added that even the test pilot included lion-turtle imagery, showing that this concept was part of the show's DNA from the beginning. The lion-turtle represents a mix of myth and inspiration from real-world statues in South Korea, giving Aang a way to access the ultimate technique in a manner consistent with the world building of the series. It's remarkable how many layers the creators added to the show while still keeping it accessible to children and entertaining for adults. Each character's journey, from Zuko's redemption to Toph's growth as the first metalbender, was carefully thought out but allowed to evolve naturally. Even Katara's and Sokka's arcs, which dealt with themes of loss, responsibility, and love, were developed in a way that balanced the overarching story of Aang mastering the elements. The combination of careful planning, organic storytelling, and attention to character development made Avatar Z: The Last Airbender resonate so deeply with viewers. The cultural impact of the series cannot be overstated. It set new standards for children's animation, blending humor, adventure, and lessons about morality and culture. Over 20 years later, Avatar is still referenced in conversations about how storytelling in cartoons can be sophisticated, emotionally powerful, and culturally aware. Its legacy is seen in the continued popularity of graphic novels expanding the story, as well as upcoming projects like the live-action The Legend of Aang movie and new animated explorations of the Avatar world. Without the careful planning, thoughtful writing, and commitment to character-driven storytelling, none of this would have been possible. Even after 2 decades, fans are still fascinated by the details of how the show was made. Interviews like the one with BuzzFeed reveal just how much thought went into each storyline, battle, and character moment. The creators' willingness to be open about what was planned, what evolved, and what was left out gives fans an appreciation for how complex and collaborative creating a show like Avatar: The Last Airbender really is. The fact that it still holds up today is a testament to the vision and dedication of DiMartino, Konietzko, and their entire team. Looking back, it's clear that Avatar succeeded not just because of its story, but because it respected its characters and its audience. Aang's journey was a hero's journey in the truest sense, but it was also deeply personal, filled with ethical dilemmas, moral choices, and the struggle to stay true to oneself in a chaotic world. Each decision, from learning the elements to confronting Ozai, was grounded in who Aang was as a character and the cultural values of the air nomads. The finale, featuring Aang's creative use of energy bending, was a perfect example of this philosophy. Rather than resorting to violence, Aang found a way to uphold his principles while still defeating a tyrant. This moment wasn't just a climactic battle. It was the culmination of everything the show had been building toward, emotionally and narratively. Fans remember it not only for the action but for the powerful message it conveyed about responsibility, morality, and the importance of finding peaceful solutions even in extreme circumstances. It's also interesting to note how much of the show's planning and creativity came from a collaborative process. While DiMartino and Konietzko had a roadmap, the writers, artists, and animators all contributed to shaping the series. Many moments that fans love, whether humorous or heart-wrenching, emerged from this collaborative energy. Even small episodes that seemed like filler contributed to character development and world building, making the show richer and more immersive. The attention to cultural authenticity and detail further elevated Avatar to Seka, The Last Airbender. From bending styles inspired by real-world martial arts to architecture influenced by Asian cultures, the creators built a world that felt real, lived in, and respectful. These choices, combined with strong storytelling and complex characters, are why the show is still celebrated as one of the greatest animated series of all time. 20 years later, it's clear that Avatar The Last Airbender wasn't just a cartoon. It was a story that taught lessons about courage, friendship, and the power of staying true to yourself. The creators' careful planning, combined with flexibility and creativity, ensured that the finale delivered on all fronts. Fans still revisit the series, discuss its intricate plots and deep characters, and anticipate future projects that continue to expand the Avatar universe. In the end, the legacy of Avatar The Last Airbender proves that great storytelling requires a balance of vision, planning, creativity, and collaboration. Michael Dante DiMartino and Bryan Konietzko's willingness to share their process gives fans a behind-the-scenes look at how this iconic series came together. From the earliest concepts in the development Bible to the epic finale with the lion, turtle, every step was thoughtfully considered to make sure Aang's journey, and the journeys of his friends, resonated for generations to come. Avatar: The Last Airbender remains a shining example of how a children's show can be profound, entertaining, and unforgettable all at once.